Hey guys, Metal Driver here, back with another AEW Unrivaled review. Today I'll be looking at Series 7, Lance Archer. On the back you see an image of Archer, some info on this picture, and the rest of the figures that are in this wave. Alright, so that is the box, so without further ado, let's go ahead and open this figure up and take a closer look at Lance Archer. Alright, and here we have the Murder Hawk out of the packaging. But before we take a look at the figure, let's go ahead and look at the accessories that he comes with. And he comes with nothing. Absolutely nothing. That kinda sucks. Anyways, here's his head. Now, we do get a screaming head sculpt for Lance Archer. Now, for me personally, I usually get kinda weary whenever I see a open mouth head sculpt because sometimes they can be hit or miss, especially with the AEW lines so far. We have gotten some misses like Riho and Series 3 Matt Jackson, and then we've got some good ones like Series 4 Kenny Omega and Series 6 Jericho. This one's actually pretty good. I like how it turned out, so it's not so bad, so kudos, Jazzwares. The paint came out really nice on the mouth. The inside, you can see his teeth are painted really well, so is the tongue. The beard looks pretty good. The eyes are painted pretty good as well, so are the eyebrows. Look at this from the side. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like this. I think it has a pretty good likeness to Lance Archer. It's going all the way around. Looks pretty decent. Yeah, so I like this head sculpt. A little bit of brown right here. Then looking at the sculpting on the braids. Pretty decent. No extra paint there. Looks like it's just a solid red plastic. Then up here you've got the braids right on top of the mohawk. So, not too bad. Then looking at the body, I don't think this is brand new. I could be wrong. But I think it fits for Archer pretty well. Looking at the tattoos, they seem painted pretty decently. I don't see any sloppiness or mispaint. Let's get a good look at that. So the lettering looks pretty good. Look at the back tattoo. This is a big, massive one. It's pretty basic looking, and it does appear that on mine, there are some missing paint spots here on the black line work. Up there, down here, a little bit down here as well. So not perfect, but I have seen worse. Some good line work here on the letters. Paintwork looks pretty good on this shoulder tattoo, so not too bad. The belt has some pretty decent paint, looks alright, so the blacks here on the buckles and the loops here look pretty good. Doesn't look sloppy. Nothing much on the back. A little bit of sloppiness right there. You got this red line here on his cheeks, which looks a little bit fuzzy. Maybe that is intentional, because it looks like the other red lines have some of that jagged look. Speaking of which, I love the design here on the pants. This looks really nice. Paint came out pretty well. Like all these jagged red lines here. I love how this says everybody dies. Here closer to the knee it says murder monster. Let's focus in on that a little bit better. There we go. So good lettering there. Overall good paint so far on that leg. So looking at the other one. So the line work looks really good. I like how the paint turned out. So very good here. Very good paint work. Glad this does not look sloppy. Looks pretty good there on the back. Look at the knee. Yeah, good paint work, good lines, good lines. This knee feels a bit weak, that kind of sucks. Yeah, this one too. They've got this boot with black and red on it. Looks pretty decent, not too bad. You've got this skull right here, good paint work. Looks pretty good. And the other one has the same image. Some good paint. Boots are the same. Pretty decent paint work. A little bit sloppiness right there. And the back looks pretty good. Looking at the articulation, the head is on a ball joint and a hinge. Goes that high up. That far down, so not a big range of motion. Can turn side to side and not really tilt. Shoulder goes that high up. It goes all the way around. There is a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow, so good range of motion, and this elbow joint here does not feel weak. I know some of the previous series had that issue with those weak joints right there. A swivel and hinge at the wrist. He has a ball joint at the upper diaphragm. He goes that far forward, that far back, so not a big range there. He can twist side to side. And then another ball joint at the waist. So it does allow for him to crunch a little bit further forward and further back, so that's a bit better. And he can twist slightly at the waist as well. He's got ball joints at the hips, which allow the legs to go that far out. They can go that high up, so not the best range of motion. There is a thigh cut. Double jointed knees, and the joint here at the knee feels a bit weak, as I mentioned. A cut at the top of the boot. Ankle has a hinge, does not go very high up. Goes that far down, a little bit better, and he has some really good ankle pivot. Here is Archer next to Unmatched Dustin Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Jon Moxley, Luchasaurus, and finally Jake the Snake Roberts. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on Series 7 Lance Archer? Honestly, I didn't know that I was going to like it this much because I wasn't really excited with this series. None of the figures were really jumping out at me, but seeing Lance Archer in hand, I really like this figure. I think Jazzwares did a really good job with the head sculpt, especially since it's an open mouth one, and sometimes those can be good, sometimes they can be bad. I think this one is pretty good. Really, the only gripe that I have is that he doesn't have any accessories. Would have been nice to get some fisted hands, or even entrance gear, but beggars can't be choosers, so I still like it. I do think it's worth picking up. It's nice to have a newer figure in the AEW line, because we've been getting a lot of repeat wrestlers recently, so I think you should definitely pick this one up. If you haven't done so already, like this video and subscribe. If you want to get a shout out in the next video, leave a comment down below just like Edmonds316 said. I can tell this channel is going to be huge. Oh, I hope so. That would be really nice. And the best way to help me grow is by leaving comments, liking the video, subscribing, showing as much love as you can. Follow me on social media so you can be up to date with all my wrestling figure photography. And I'll see you next time.